All right, let's welcome to the show, back here, Fox Sports Radio. Let's bring my man in, RJ Young. We did the draft together for Fox. It was awesome. I met RJ. He's a Midwest guy, came out here. RJ's always firing on all cylinders. How are you this morning, man?
I'm good, J-Mac, though I would put Oklahoma squarely in the South. That's the sentiment down here.
South, okay. So, yeah, Midwest would be more Chicago, Iowa. You guys are South. Okay. RJ, let's start right here. Let's start with the big news about Aaron Rodgers. I'm curious as to your thoughts. Where do you think Aaron Rodgers ends up this offseason? Or does he stay in Green Bay, retire? You got options.
I think he's got to stay in Green Bay. And I think that's because it's difficult for the Packers to trade him. They signaled that they don't really care what you want when they took Eric Stokes in the first round and didn't get him a wide receiver. We know that storied fact by now. He has not had a first-round wide receiver since he has been at Green Bay. But more than that, you look at his contract. They paid him $6.8 million in a roster bonus already, which means they would have to be paying $7 million just to trade him. And then there's this aspect of it that, yeah, we could talk about the salary cap, and you know that there's $38 million that they would basically be spending to trade him. That goes down to $17 million next year. But the thing for me is it's $50,000 a day to miss these organized events, OTAs and training camp and the like. Last time I looked, 30 times $50,000 is a lot of money, even for Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he has the backbone to sit this out. And if Jordan Love goes out there and goes 32 of 38 for 344 with 4 touchdowns, he will show up tomorrow.
Oh, please. RJ, come on. Listen, first of all, Aaron Rodgers has more money than God. I'm just kidding. He does not. He has a lot of money, so 50K is nothing. But it would be interesting. I'm curious, where did you come in on Jordan Love? You saw him in college. I mean, were you impressed with the guy? Or, like, how would he stack up compared to this year's 5 quarterbacks in the first round?
The way they stacked up to the quarterbacks last year and the year before that, I didn't get it. I don't understand. Look, if you're Green Bay, you saw something that you obviously liked and you thought could work within your system and within your club. But what I saw at Utah State was a guy that led the entire FBS in interceptions. He threw 17 picks in just 20 TDs in his last year of college football, and then you drafted that dude at 32. Now, I think it works in this instance. If the strategy here is to piss off Aaron Rodgers so he plays up to an MVP caliber, then yeah, it works. And I would spend my draft capital doing that for as long as it does work, because I thought the thing to do this year is to double down on what you did last year. Continue to build out your defense, find another weapon to go on the other side of Devontae Adams and run it back. But with this drama that is alongside Aaron Rodgers' contract, and he wants to be a game show host, and now he doesn't want to be in Green Bay anymore, I would wash my hands of it if I'm them, right? I think that you try to get everything you can from one of these 3 suitors. Niners doesn't feel like a suitor anymore because they took Trey Lance, but perhaps they'd be willing to trade him. I like him a little bit better than Jordan Love. But if Jordan Love were to come out there and show everybody that I'm wrong, more power to him. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't really see it with the kid. And if you're the GM, I just think you're overthinking things. Yeah, let's bring in Jordan Love, even though he just went to the NFC title game. All right, RJ Young, I want you to dive in quickly. Give me your thoughts on Trey Lance versus Mac Jones. Mac Jones falls to the Patriots. Trey Lance goes 3. Justin Fields is the guy we both like, I think, who ends up in Chicago. But, Trey Lance, do you think he'll be successful in San Fran?
No, we 100% agree on Justin Fields. Like, I love that dude. He was my QB1 even ahead of Lawrence. That's another discussion. But I like Lance better than I like Mac Jones. And the reason I do is I want the most athletic person possible at quarterback always. I want the most athletic person with the ball in his hands every single time we play football. Sometimes that means distributing the ball to other guys that are athletic. But when plays break down and I need somebody that can make a play off schedule, I like Trey Lance here, especially measured against Mac Jones, because they got the same number of starts. And when I talk to quarterback trainers and I talk to quarterback coaches, the one thing they all agree on is that you need to play a lot of football to be successful in the National Football League. And that is where I think both of those guys come up short. And then you take into account that we don't know the caliber of athlete that Trey Lance played with. We only know that it was at the FCS level, and we generally believe that the FBS is a little bit better. We know that Mac Jones had absolute monsters, like real monsters at every single position. He only got sacked 11 times in 13 games. I'm going to bet on Trey Lance here.
Yeah, interesting. Now, RJ, this is what makes it so difficult when you look at who becomes better in the NFL. Like, a lot of it has to do with where you go, who your teammates are, who this coach is the owner stable, is the GM rotating all the time? Like Justin Fields, there's a scenario where the Bears go 5-12 in the 17-game season, and the coach and the GM get fired, and then Justin Fields is back to square one because the new guy may not like him, similar to Joe Douglas coming into the Jets. He's like, yeah, Sam Darnold, whatever, let's move on. I'm curious where you are on Zach Wilson because the Jets' new regime, head coach and GM, picked him as their guy.
We'll see, right? I mean, I seriously, we'll see. I've seen him compared by NFL personnel that I really respect to Kyler Murray and Tua Tagovailoa. I just don't see it coming out of Brigham Young. And I think that his personality, though, we're going to figure out a lot about whether or not he's the guy just by how he handles media there. But in his corner, I'll give him this. People forget this. As a freshman, not even a freshman, as a senior in high school, he took 2 BYU cheerleaders to his senior prom. That's moxie, okay? I need moxie at quarterback.
That happened?
That happened. There is photographic evidence on the interwebs right now of that picture, and they're both kissing him on the cheek. It's one of my favorite facts about any of these quarterbacks going in this first round.
Wow.
He is there as a full personality, and he is going to embrace, I think, the culture there. I just want to know that it works because Provo is a lot friendlier to him than New York will be, especially if he doesn't come out the gate and light people up.
All right, let's end on this one. 2022 draft. I know it's a year away. People are like, come on, relax. Everybody loves quarterbacks, but there's no Trevor Lawrence in this class. There's a bunch of good and a bunch of potentially good, JT Daniels, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, Keaton Slovis. Is there someone to you that jumps out as the best quarterback to look for next year?
I think it's Rattler, man. I think it's Spencer Rattler at Oklahoma. And the only other guy that I put in that conversation right now is Sam Howell, because a lot of the similarities that Baker Mayfield had, he has. And he's flipping a program around the same way that Baker took a program that was going into the cellar back to the college football playoff. But the thing is, Rattler's got this ability just to flip his wrist and the ball goes 70 yards. He's tremendously accurate. And the thing he has going for him that none of the other Oklahoma quarterbacks who have been drafted highly have is 3 years of Lincoln Riley being his head coach. Is the first guy that we're going to see Riley develop from high school onward at Oklahoma. Remember, Kyler Murray transferred in, Baker Mayfield transferred before he got there, and Jalen Hurts, of course, famously grad transferred from Alabama. I really like him, and I really think he's going to have an opportunity to show that with a team around him that is capable of winning the national championship this year.
All right, he is RJ Young. Follow him on Twitter at RJ Young Show. RJ, great working with you this week, man, and we'll talk soon.
I appreciate you, J-Mac. Have a good one, dude.
All right, RJ Young. That guy's good.